day. Again, my wife is out with him. So I just thought I was doing some work in the Kuti. Kuti is a meditation space. I'll actually show you it. It's where we run our courses. And I thought I'd drop in with a few words. This is the Kuti anyway. This is where we run our courses, retreats. So again, he's got something on this afternoon, so that's why it's set up. Yeah, and this is our home actually. This is the garden. There's the house, and yeah, from afar anyway. Yeah, I was talking to a friend the other day, and she was struggling with something was happening to her physical body, but she's struggling mentally, and that's what we do, isn't it? So I want to talk about the two arrows, but I want to go a little bit more deeper into them, or a slightly different angle. So the Buddha discovered this. It's a parable. I'm going to cut a long parable short. So the Buddha said there was two arrows in life. The first arrow is that life happens to us. We get, the arrow goes in. There's a painful incident. We get criticized, or we finally get ill. We lose a loved one. We smash the car. Whatever. Yeah. We have a stomachache. It doesn't matter what the event. There's an event that just happens. We can't control what happens like that on that level. That's the first arrow. But what then happens is there's a second arrow goes in, but that's not life doing it. Who's doing it? You know, don't you? You know who's doing it. And I'm laughing, but it's not funny because that's the cause of suffering. That's moving from the event, which may be painful, physically painful, financially painful, reputationally painful. But then the second arrow goes in, and that's the one that we do. That's the one we have control over. So let me explain what happens. There's an event. Let's say you got a stomachache. And then mind comes in, or thoughts come in, and thoughts comment on that first arrow. The mind is forever commentating, as you've noticed. Some of the commentary is about what's happening, but a lot of the commentary is about what's not happening. But we still believe it, we're still engrossed in it, immersed in it, fixated on it. So it has an interpretation of that first arrow, that first incident, that stomachache. Now, there might be some truth in it, like, oh, this has been going on for 2 weeks now, you need to go get it seen to. Yes. But it doesn't stop there, does it? It then interprets what's going to happen at the doctor's. Then once you be at the doctor's, it interprets what's going to happen about the results. And it goes on and on and on. Just reinterpreting. It's what it knows. It's what it's conditioned to do. Or rather programmed to do. It's like a program. So we're no longer experiencing the pain of the stomachache or whatever it is, the incident. We're experiencing the suffering of the interpretation, the story around it. See, thinking or thoughts are very useful if you want to, compare the price of two holidays. Go with two different companies, for example. It's very good for comparing price of two trains, just for instance, or for working through your tax returns or something like that. That's what it's designed for. For planning something. You might be going on holiday, so you plan it. Yeah. That's using the mind wisely. That's what it's for. It's beautifully designed for that. But it's not designed to forever, forever, if I get my words out, it's not designed to keep interpreting what's happening, an event. That just leads to mental suffering, psychological suffering. And that's where the suffering is. It's in that interpretation. It's believing that what these thoughts are saying is true. It's losing. It's, in a sense, we fall asleep. We fall asleep into the thought, into that world, into that virtual reality. Even if there's a grain of truth within that story, we're still falling asleep. All we need to do is, you need to go to the doctors. Okay, yeah. And then we make plans and make a phone call and, yeah. But we've got so used to just fixating on mind. We believe that what the mind is saying about the first incident is reality. And it's not. The reality is that there's a bodily sensation of aching tummy. And the reality is you've decided to go to the doctors. So what we need to start doing, we need to start identifying this second arrow, which is done, which is due, only to our thinking, that unconscious thinking. That's it. That's what you got to, we identify the thinking rather than identifying with the thinking. That one word, with, W-I-T-H. And then it feels like, and then the mind doesn't just interpret, it exaggerates or underthinks about it or tries to make it smaller to make us feel better, or, yeah. And that's what the mind is doing almost constantly. No wonder we're upset, anxious and afraid and hoping for something better. But even the hoping is tinged with fear. It's the other side of the coin. We hope for this, but we fear that. Okay, I think I've said enough. Nearly 8 minutes. Okay, guys. Thank you. Hope you're well. Bye-bye.